Everybody, hope y'all are doing good because, man, we really need to have a conversation about this one. After James Harden completely disappeared in that elimination game and the Cleveland Cavaliers got flat out embarrassed with a sweep in the conference finals, listen to this. That is the type of collapse that instantly has people calling you a fraud when the pressure hits the highest level of the season. At the very least, you are supposed to steal a game or two and make the series feel competitive instead of rolling over on national television like that. But honestly, once they dropped Game 1 the way they did, hold up, you could already feel the entire series slipping away before it even really started. Meanwhile, Patrick Beverley was online clowning multiple fan bases, including the Detroit Pistons supporters and everybody Cleveland faced earlier in the playoffs during that first-round run. He kept yelling that James Harden was about to figure it out, saying the beard over and over again like some kind of warning to the rest of the league. And girl, now we are right back at the same ugly conversation everybody tries to avoid every postseason when things fall apart, and it ends in another brutal sweep. So with all of that noise leading up to this moment, you won't believe this. Here was Pat Bev's very first response afterward.
I'm appalled right now. I can't believe the Cavs did that shit yesterday. I can't believe it. I can't believe that. I'm lost for words. I deserve the slander, I do. Tune into the pod. I'm definitely, I'm unacceptable.
Now, you might be wondering, hold up, why exactly is Pat Bev catching so much heat outside of all that championship talk? Well, man, about a month or maybe a month and a half ago, he jumped out there and boldly claimed that James Harden is a better overall player than Dwyane Wade, and listen to this, he basically brushed the championship rings off like they were not even important to the conversation. So before we even get into the latest thing he said that has the internet going crazy again, we have to revisit some of that wild back and forth because girls, that aged horribly after what everybody just witnessed.
That's the homie. But when it comes to like a player, right? You're talking about a player that can score it, a player that can get to the free throw line, a player that can pass it out of pick and roll. A lot of people were going under on D-Wade pick and rolls. I ain't go front. Like, you feel me? A lot of people was letting D-Wade have that. Yes, does D-Wade have clutch gene? You're absolutely right. Yes, at times have we seen D-Wade be more clutcher than James Harden? Yes, we have. But when you talk about a better player, like James Harden is a better player than Dwyane Wade.
Yeah, Pat Bev came out and just talked about me and James. Another conversation with me and James. Pat just came out definitive. He was definitive. James Harden is better than Dwyane Wade.
Stop. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. He was definitive. He was very definitive in his answer, and I was just sitting there like, okay, Pat, what's your facts?
Right.
To say that someone's better, or just come out and say what I personally like, the style of play that I like to see.
That's a great way to say
X, Y, and Z. Don't you ever fix your mouth to say nobody is better than me when you wasn't better than me.
So we all watched how that series crashed and burned in real time. You had the coach out there talking about how they analytically won certain games, even though, listen to this, the scoreboard kept telling a completely different story when it actually mattered. Then you got James Harden after getting swept, saying we feel like we're the better team, instead of simply admitting the obvious that everybody watching with common sense could already see, which was that the better squad clearly won the series. And man, whether people want to hear it or not, that kind of response comes off like pure loser mentality when the season is officially over and there are no more excuses left to hide behind. So after all of those comments started making rounds online, hold up, now we've got to talk about what Pat Bev had to say once he saw the backlash building everywhere.
That was my take on the Cavs. Obviously, people reaching out to me, right? I mean, the messages are insane, right? And here, Dwyane Wade. Pat, this is why I would choose Dwyane Wade. This is why I would choose Dwyane Wade, Pat. This is the whole reason why I would choose Dwyane Wade, and I understand it. But I think sometimes people get lost in yes, you would choose Dwyane Wade, 31, 32, 30-year-old Dwyane Wade, Miami Heat Dwyane Wade, right? We're talking about 36, 37-year-old Dwyane Wade. He was with the Cleveland Cavaliers. You can honestly tell me that you're taking that version of D-Wade to lead your team in the finals. That's all I'm saying, right? I'm not saying that, and I'm getting a lot, this is why he's not better than, and I made my statement. I'm not gonna reopen that match it. I mean, it looks awful though. It has me looking completely awful. It has me looking like, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I can't believe Beard did me like this. Can't believe it. Can't believe it, because they wanted this. They've been wanting to put this on his legacy for so long. You feel me? Regardless if he watching the internet or whatever, they've been wanting to put this on his legacy for so long. So like, they can, and they can say it. They got swept. Right? They really got swept. So now I have to look at myself in the mirror like, man, what is my feeling or, I don't know, comparing players? Am I wrong? Like, for real, am I wrong? How the Cleveland Cavaliers play, I gotta look at it like, man, Pat, I think you was kind of off with that one, and that would be fair to say. So I'm here for it. I'm here for the criticism. I'm here for the slander. I deserve it. Damn, Cleveland, I did not see this coming.
And honestly, I think Pat Bev's original argument was more about the full body of work instead of comparing them at the same exact age or point in their careers. He was talking about who he believed was the greater shooting guard overall. And listen to this, he even had Harden ranked third all-time behind Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, which is a massive statement, no matter how you try to frame it. So when somebody says something like that, they are not just talking about what Harden looks like today compared to an older version of Dwyane Wade. Now, to be fair, Wade absolutely dealt with injuries throughout his career, and man, his reckless crash and burn style of play eventually caught up to him physically over time. Wade was constantly throwing his body around, attacking the rim through traffic, trying to block everything in sight, and taking brutal falls instead of adjusting his game to preserve himself long term. So yes, some of that wear and tear is definitely on him, but even with all of that being said, hold up. I still personally have a couple of other two guards ranked above James Harden all time. I have never been one of those fans who just blindly worship stats, because a lot of Harden's numbers were inflated during that era where he kept baiting defenders with that arm hook move that the league eventually started cracking down on. And don't get me wrong, Harden was obviously a great player, but girl, there have been plenty of legendary shooting guards in NBA history whose games actually translated when the postseason intensity and physicality reached another level. Those older stars could get game planned repeatedly in a 7-game series, have players imitate them in practice, and teams still could not stop what they did once the real game started. That is the type of greatness I personally grew up respecting, because when those guys showed up under pressure, their skill sets still worked, no matter how prepared the defense was. With Harden, though, everything always felt so dependent on dominating the ball, playing in front of the defense, and manipulating calls instead of adapting once playoff basketball tightened up. And once referees stopped rewarding that arm swing move as much, you could really see moments where he looked completely out of rhythm and honestly kind of lost offensively. It is also not like he was balancing things out with elite defense either, because his offensive usage was always through the roof every single season. Now, I will say this, James Harden back at Arizona State and Oklahoma City and even early in Houston before all the foul baiting became his identity looked way more complete as a basketball player overall. But once he leaned heavily into that style, people started ignoring those ugly playoff stat lines where he would go 2 for 19 or shoot horribly from deep while still getting praised because the raw scoring totals looked flashy on paper. And listen, that style of basketball just never impressed me the same way, because it felt more manufactured around volume and isolation instead of pure playoff dominance. That is not me trying to erase what Harden accomplished in his career, but I do think today's spacing, high ball screen systems, and non-stop one-on-one opportunities have boosted certain players' numbers in ways older generations never had access to. There are guys from previous eras like Kevin Johnson who probably would have put up completely insane stats too if coaches let them spam high pick and rolls and take that many shots every single night. That is why I always say a lot of former players would look statistically way different if they played in today's NBA environment. But anyway, y'all let me know what you think in the comments, because man, Pat Bev definitely sounds like he is walking back some of that original take now. Appreciate y'all for watching, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.